Is Anthony Joshua the best heavyweight in boxing? You know, when you're looking at the heavyweight landscape, if you're like me, then the two guys at the very top, the only two you could make the argument for, are Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. And the reason I feel that way is because not only have they passed the eye test and shown how talented they are, but they also have some of the best resumes in heavyweight boxing, and their records are very good. Both of these guys have gone in there and beaten every single person they've ever faced, whether it was on the first try or the second try. They've gone ahead and done that. So these are the two, for me, that I would consider the two best heavyweight boxers in the world right now. As far as resume goes, I would say that Dillian Whyte is up there as well. He's got a great resume. Let's not forget he fought Joseph Parker, Oscar Rivas. He's fought Derek Chisora twice. He fought Anthony Joshua, and so on and so forth. But, Dillian Whyte did lose in his last outing against Alexander Povetkin. He also got knocked out by Anthony Joshua. So I just feel like with those two knockouts on his resume, you can't put him at the same level as these two guys. He's probably a rung underneath, along with Deontay Wilder. A lot of people will say Deontay Wilder's the best, and most of them will be those, hallucinogenic types that have, believe that Tyson Fury loaded egg weights and, machine guns and what else into his glove, and that the earth is flat and the tooth fairy's real. But, he lost. The bottom line is he lost to Tyson Fury in the last fight. There's been no confirmation that Tyson Fury cheated. And he also should have lost him in the first fight, but got robbed, in my opinion. And I say that as an American. So no bias. I'm just looking at this, objectively speaking. So I look at the heavyweight landscape, and as I survey it, I say to myself, it's either Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury. Now, I'm going to make an argument for both sides. And then, we'll come to a conclusion, hopefully. So, with regards to Anthony Joshua, if you're looking at the resume, I do believe he's challenged himself more than Tyson Fury, and he's got a better resume than Tyson Fury. As far as his resume, he's definitely challenged himself more. You've got Andy Ruiz Jr. twice, Alexander Povetkin, Joseph Parker, Carlos Takam, Vladimir Klitschko, Dillian Whyte, Eric Molina, Charles Martin, Dominic Brazil, and the list goes on and on. Whereas with Tyson Fury, the best names on there, you've got Vladimir Klitschko, who was an opponent in common. And then you've got Deontay Wilder twice, right? But besides that, the only other big name on Tyson Fury's resume is Derek Chisora, if you want to consider him a big name. So, I think strength of opposition, I would have to go with Anthony Joshua. And that also goes to, courage. He's willing to challenge himself. But if you're looking at courage, you also got to look at Tyson Fury, right? Because both times that he fought, the best guys, on his resume, he fought them in their hometown, right? He fought Vladimir Klitschko in Dusseldorf, which, nobody ever gets a decision there, and he was able to manage that. And he fought Deontay Wilder in the United States twice. So, and beat him, I think soundly both times. So, very impressive there. Not afraid to go on the road, very much that gypsy mentality. I think if you also look at the way they've performed, both of them have showed a good chin and a lot of heart. We saw Tyson Fury down early in his career against Cunningham. We also saw him get tore up, huge gash on his face against Otto Wallin. We also saw him get hurt twice against Deontay Wilder in the first fight. Basically resurrected in that 12th round when he got caught with that right hand on the left on the way down. And all three times came back to win. He just has this killer instinct about him where if you hit him or you hurt him, he's going to come after you even harder and fight a more brawling than boxing style. Something I'm very impressed with Tyson Fury. Something similar applies to Anthony Joshua, right? We saw him hurt against Dillian White when they fought, and he just fought his way back, you know. We saw even when he got, knocked out by Andy Ruiz Jr., I didn't believe he gave up. I felt like he kept getting up, and he just, didn't have his feet under him, didn't have his head on right, but he kept fighting. And the same thing with Vladimir Klitschko, right? I think any other man, or just about any other man, with the exception of Anthony Joshua and maybe Tyson Fury, would not have gotten up from that right hand that Vladimir Klitschko hit him with in their fight. And somehow he was able to come back from that and knock Vladimir Klitschko out in the 11th round. So both really impressive as far as their heart and their chins go. Both really, rise to the occasion, very much like to challenge themselves. Obviously Joshua has that one loss on the record where he legitimately lost to Andy Ruiz. Tyson Fury doesn't have that, and I think that that's a major advantage for Tyson Fury when you're comparing the two. Then, if you look at them as far as talent goes, I'm not saying that Anthony Joshua isn't a great boxer, because he is. He's an Olympic gold medalist, an extensive amateur career. He's challenged himself at the pro level as well, as we've talked about. But I just don't, when I look at Anthony Joshua, I don't see the same level of boxing that I see from Tyson Fury. I don't see the same ability. I see a lot of ability. I think he's fundamentally sound most of the time. But I feel like Tyson Fury can do things in there that Anthony Joshua just can't. Whereas, you could also make an argument for Anthony Joshua as far as, their style goes, in that, he seems stronger. He seems very strong on the inside and at mid-range, whereas Tyson Fury seems more adept to the long range fighting. Then, you look at them physically. I say Anthony Joshua looks stronger. He does look stronger to me. Probably has a harder punch. But, we've seen Tyson Fury knocking people out too. And he does have the physical advantage as far as reach and height. He's got a 3-inch reach advantage at 6'9", or rather at 85 inches, and a 3-inch height advantage at 6 feet 9 inches. So, Tyson Fury, better reach, better height, but not quite the physical specimen as far as strength goes. But then when it comes to coordination and maybe even speed, I would say speed as well, footwork, movement, I got to give that to Tyson Fury. One of the best things we can do to compare the two as well is to look at common opponents, and the only common opponent that I think we can look at with any sort of, analytical eye is Vladimir Klitschko, right? And Tyson, I believe, fought a Vladimir Klitschko that was a little bit better, perhaps, than the one AJ fought, because he hadn't lost in a very long time. AJ fought Klitschko after Tyson beat him, but I still think Klitschko was extremely dangerous and very good when he fought AJ. But, when we compare the two, it continues to kind of confuse us, right? Because AJ got Klitschko out of there, but he almost got knocked out. Tyson Fury wasn't in any danger at all throughout the fight and completely outboxed Klitschko, but didn't get him out of there. So, I think Fury, based on that performance and the other performances we've seen, has shown himself to be a better boxer, and this is the sport of boxing, right? AJ, on the other hand, may be a bit more exciting, knocks people out, gives the people what they want to see. He's also got more belts at this point. Tyson, sure, he's got the WBC belt, which is the beautiful green belt that most people want, and is the lineal champion. But AJ has the majority of the belts. So, at the end of the day, who do you think is the best heavyweight? I'd love to hear what you guys think. My opinion, based on everything I've told you guys, is Tyson Fury. I got to give him a slight advantage right now, right? This is despite the fact that I think AJ has a better resume. This is despite the fact that I do think he's got some advantages. This is despite the fact that he's got more belts. I just feel like Tyson Fury is a bit better as a boxer, has not shown any sort of physical deficiencies that make me think that Anthony Joshua would beat him And I would just feel more comfortable as somebody who's more into the technical side of the sport, picking Tyson Fury to win. That being said, I could see Anthony Joshua going in there and beating up Tyson Fury, maybe even getting him out of there, right? Because he does hit that hard, and he does have that, kind of stalking style when he wants to have it, where he just, puts a lot of pressure on you and gets you out of there. We saw that against, Povetkin. We saw that against Dillian White. We saw that against Andy Ruiz in the first fight until it kind of backfired on him. We've seen it several times from Anthony Joshua, where, he just walks you down and takes you out. And I feel like that's probably the best style for Tyson Fury. Whereas, the style to beat Anthony Joshua, so far the only one we've seen is, somebody who can hit really hard and has really fast hands on the inside. And I'm not sure that that's Tyson Fury's quality. And I'm talking about Andy Ruiz. So my question to you is, again, who is the best heavyweight in boxing? Is it Anthony Joshua? Hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. Also, smash the like button. Join Knucklehead Nation, the most educated fight channel on YouTube. Also, get your Fighters Rep gear in the link below. By doing so, you not only help me build the channel, you help me build the only kickboxing promotion that matters, Fighters Rep Promotions. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say.